Hey guys, welcome back to Philip Draws Comics. I'm Philip. That's my hand you see on the screen right now, drawing the picture in front of you. And today we're doing a picture of Spider-Man. I was flipping through a book I have on a collection of Marvel Comics work by the photorealistic artist Alex Ross. And as I was flipping through, I came across this particular image of Spider-Man I thought looked really cool, and it reminded me of this particular image of Spider-Man. This one's drawn by Larry Lieber, who, believe it or not, is the kid brother of the famous Stan Lee, co-creator of Spider-Man. And it's the final page of Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 5. And something about that pose always struck me as very strange. I don't know. I remember thinking when I looked at it, I don't know how you would draw that angle on Spider-Man with the mask and have it look good, but I know that's not right. I know that's not how you do it. As I was flipping through the Alex Ross book, I saw this pose and thought, oh, that's kind of closer to how I probably would have, how you do that. I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man's nose being prominent, like an actual nose sticking out through the mask. Kind of like, in my mind, the cloth lays across the face and sort of blunts it out a little bit, creates a unique profile, not just, a nose sticking out from a Spider-Man mask. But I just thought that looked cool, and because it made me think of old school, 1960s Spider-Man, I decided to do this drawing and convert the costume from that Alex Ross, Peter Parker, when he was president of Parker Industries and was wearing a high-tech Spider-Man suit, and just downgrade it to a classic Spider-Man suit. Hadn't really intended on drawing a video today. Like I said, I was just flipping through the book and saw that and started had an itch to draw, and at the last minute thought, hey, what are you doing? Grab your phone and set it up. And because if you don't draw, if it doesn't look good, no one will, you won't care. But if you end up drawing something really nice and you don't record it, you'll be annoyed at yourself for not recording it and being able to put it on the channel. Alex Ross was a hero of mine when I was a kid. Growing up in the 90s, superhero movies weren't as ubiquitous as they are today. We pretty much just had the 4 Christopher Reeve movies, and every couple of years a new Batman movie would come out, but that was about it. Some shows on TV, again, usually Superman related. There was a Flash live action show, but when Alex Ross started doing comics with his very photorealistic style, he once said, I feel like either he said it or Neil Adams might have said it. If superheroes existed, they'd have to look the way I draw them. That feels like more of a Neil Adams quote, but I think it applies to Alex Ross too. His style was not only realistic, but it looked, the characters, he did such a great job designing, specifically like his Superman is iconic because it looks like an update of that old Joe Shuster style, like come to life. The last few videos I've been focusing on the very stylized, artistic work of manga creator Akira Toriyama. And so this was an interesting departure because not only is it not like a classical comic book style, it's not like a Neil Adams or John Romita Sr. or John Buscema. It's photorealistic, so like drawing this body was something tantamount to drawing like a still life image. The proportions are all more or less realistic. There's no exaggerated musculature, and it was an interesting experience. It's one that I really enjoyed. I may crack open that book and do some more Alex Ross studies as time goes on. I've always been a big fan of the heavy web wings under Spider-Man's arms. It's just such a unique design. They do absolutely nothing for anybody. At least the character of Nightwing has similar wings under his arms, but he uses them to glide, theoretically. But Spider-Man, they just look interesting. Once again, the colors here are just old-fashioned Crayola crayons. Started using them for a couple of videos ago, and just really like A, how they show up on camera, and B, just how smooth they are to work with. I had initially was going to do a little more design work on the shading, and kind of got away from it and just thought, was just having fun putting this blue down, and realized I'm going to go back in a minute and darken in the blacks a little more. But on the red, I almost made the mistake of coloring all the way, one solid red, and I was able to stop myself at the last minute and add a little highlights to it. I think the image came across a little better. Initially, I used the crayon that said red to color it in, and see that hand looks a little too brown for me. So, scrolling through, I found this one. It's called Scarlet, and Scarlet was way more what I expected red to look like. So I got to remember in the future to use that. But I was able to take that red and use it to color in the darker areas, like under his chin and under his foot there. Little highlights give it a little more contrast. I like the idea that it kind of looks a little more realistic, mostly because it just looks a lot simpler. I think sometimes less is more, as they say. I'm going to do that here in a second too with the webbing. Instead of using the more modern day traditional what you call spaghetti webbing in his hand, I'm going to do more John Romita Sr. style, which is literally just little circular squiggles to make the webbing. Artist Todd McFarlane popularized what you call spaghetti webbing, which is where you have various strands sort of interacting with each other and wrapping around, and it's a cool design if you can sort of get it right. But I kind of liked that I was going for more of a 1960s throwback with this version of this image, and it just seemed to work a little better that way. Just good old-fashioned squiggly lines to make the spider webs. Again, overall, I was really impressed with how well the crayons worked. I've drawn Spider-Man before, and mostly I've realized when you use markers or colored pencils, you're better off coloring in the red first and then drawing the webbing on top of that, because the pencils or markers will drown out the inks on the webs. But didn't seem to be an issue there with the crayons. Now I'm going back with a darker black pen and darkening the lines on one side of the body, on the limbs, to kind of make them stand out, give them a little more depth, help that lighting effect across the body. That's going to be about it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments where you fall on the scale of realistic art versus more stylized art. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Talk to you next time. Bye.